Chapter 81. Very good, I'm just afraid you won't lose your temper. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Feng Qing snorted coldly and answered the phone, and Guanfeng's steady voice came. Why don't you want to treat Shangguan? I need you to give a reasonable explanation. This sentence basically blocked Feng Qing's retreat. If you say I'm upset, I just don't want to treat him. You will definitely be refuted. To deal with an old fox-type character, you have to be more reasonable than him. Feng Qing gently covered the sleeping Zhong Lan with his coat. Walking aside, he whispered, Commanderin, just because I am a medical student, do I deserve to be ordered around and used? Shangguan has no sense of the overall situation and is determined to go against Zhong Yuan. I tried to stop him, but what did he say to me? Feng Qing paused and sneered. He said I was bluffing. Is it necessary for me, Feng Qing, to bluff? Now that something has happened, he thought of me again and asked you to call and deal with me. You are the commander, can I not give you face? But I feel wronged, who will take care of my thoughts? And Guanfeng heard your contribution to the military region is obvious to all. Shangguan did make a big mistake this time, but he did not make a principled mistake. I think we can give him a chance. Feng Qing, you just said that you should have a big picture. The higher-ups have high hopes for you. I hope you will not make the wrong decision because of your personal emotions. Your ability is destined to change the fate of many people. I hope you can make good use of this power. Feng Qing was silent, and after a few seconds he whispered, I know. The call ended. Feng Qing's attitude was ambiguous, but in fact he agreed. Headquarters office. As soon as Guanfeng put down the receiver, his adjutant Xiao Qin reported to him. Commander, Chengyin College called again. It's only 9 o'clock in the morning, and they have urged more than a dozen times. It's really outrageous. Do you think our headquarters is their communication room? That the adjutant did not hide his dissatisfaction, and Guanfeng said calmly, you go and inform Chen Wenchang that Feng Qing has agreed to treat Shangguan, just let him wait. Then call Gu Yan and tell him to report Zhong Yuan's condition every hour. By the way, all insiders in the college must sign confidentiality documents today and are not allowed to spread Zhong Yuan's affairs. All videos will be deleted. If anyone violates this, he will be punished by military law. The adjutant was shocked. With such close attention and hourly reports, what exactly is the student named Zhong Yuan doing? Don't ask. If you ask, he is just lying there. He doesn't turn over, doesn't get up at night, and doesn't breathe. Several guards didn't sleep all night, staring at the screen, just to confirm when he gets up. In the morning, all the defenses were broken. 3 meals were placed outside the confinement room. They were yesterday's dinner, today's breakfast, and today's lunch. They were all cold and untouched. Gu Yan followed the commander's request and reported his condition every hour. At 1 o'clock in the afternoon, he finally got anxious. Commander, this won't work. A Suning person's metabolism is faster than a normal person. He hasn't eaten for 3 meals and doesn't even drink a sip of water. If this continues, his body will collapse. Yes, Feng Qing and Shangguan are easy to deal with, but Zhong Yuan is a tough nut to crack. What? Temporarily locked up in the confinement room, and still in a bad mood? Very good, I'm afraid you won't lose your temper. The bigger the temper, the better. And Guanfeng raised his eyebrows and said in a deep voice, don't worry about him. He is strong and must have strong vitality. He won't die if he starves for a few meals. I want to see where his limit is. Gu Yan opened his mouth, not daring to oppose the commander's opinion, but praying in his heart that Zhong Yuan would end his ridiculous hunger strike soon. Commanderin is very optimistic about you, and the medals are ready. There is no need to go against the commander at a critical moment. On the other side, Principal Chen was anxious in the infirmary. They said that Feng Qing had been persuaded, so why didn't he come? In another 2 hours, Shangguan Yi's hand would not be able to recover. Old Gu, do you want to call the military district again? Gu Yan sneaked out and called the headquarters. The operator took the opportunity to complain, wishing to block Principal Chen. Gu Yan sighed and comforted, isn't there still 2 hours? It's useless to be anxious. He will come if he wants to. If he doesn't want to come, he won't come even if he is beaten to death. Alas. Principal Chen sighed heavily. Uncle Chen, you are busy with official business, so why don't you go back first? I'll take care of it here. Jian Rou looked haggard, with bloodshot eyes, and she didn't sleep all night. At this time, Shangguan Yi suddenly opened his eyes and said hoarsely, "Go back. It's useless for you to stay here, you will only disturb my rest." That he woke up in the second half of the night, because there was still destructive power left in the wound, he had to use a large dose of painkillers. The medical system is also a human being, and it is impossible for him to activate his ability continuously for 24 hours, since there is no danger to life. Everyone goes back to rest now. Jian Rou knew that Shangguan Yi definitely didn't want others to see his vulnerable side. She choked with tears, "Uncle Chen, let's go. Let Yi be alone." She had tried her best. If the military district headquarters couldn't order Feng Qing, then there was really nothing she could do. After making calls all night, his physical strength was exhausted by worry and tension. Principal Chen said exhaustedly, "Xiao Yi, have a good rest." Several people left the infirmary. As soon as they left, Shangguan Yi's expression immediately twisted into a deformed shape. "It hurts. It hurts so much. Painkillers are useless. The wound hurts all the time. He is suffering every minute and every second." If Jian Rou hadn't been by his side, he would have cried out in pain. It's useless to find a medical doctor. They tried their best. What does it mean to live a year? What does it mean to live a life worse than death? For the first time, Shangguan Yi found that time was so slow and life was so painful. His teeth were almost broken. Time passed by little. Finally, the electronic clock hanging on the wall showed that it was 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Endless fear shrouded his heart. He could hold on until now because he believed that Feng Qing would come to save him. The injuries left by Zhong Yuan were so strange that ordinary medical departments could not cure them at all. If Feng Qing didn't come, it meant that he would live a life worse than death every day of his life. It would be better to die. 3:02, no more. It's really too late. Shangguan Yi couldn't stop the grief in his heart anymore. He covered his face with one hand and cried loudly. Just when he was desperate and wanted to give up his life, the door of the infirmary was opened. The guy with sunglasses walked in slowly. Shangguan Yi was like a drowning person grabbing the last life-saving talisman, not caring about the various catheters connected to his body, and rolled off the bed. "Feng Qing! Feng Qing, save me, please save me, please." Chapter 83 on the correct method of awakening Zhong Yuan. You are listening at novelfull.audio. As soon as the life-sharing was turned on, the vitality that was not very abundant to begin with plummeted, and it dropped by half. How to treat this? Even gods would shake their heads. The chief physician bowed to the Dean of Academic Affairs with a pale face. "Thank you so much." Then, he walked out without saying a word. Gu Yan was shocked and hurriedly stopped him. "What's the situation?" That the chief physician had already shut down his ability. The vitality that was divided away could not be returned for a while, and at this time, even breathing was a little difficult. He panted hard and said stiffly, "Director, the person is already dead. I have taken away half of my life. You still want me to treat him? I have to go back and treat him now. Goodbye." After saying that, he was about to leave again, and Gu Yan hurriedly dragged him. "Wait a minute. Are you sure? Maybe it's just a fake death." The commander said that this kid is likely to be in a state similar to hibernation, lying all the time, almost no consumption. He should not starve to death. If he is really going to die, his body will stink and rot, and there must be a strange smell. No, it means it's not that bad yet. The chief physician slowed down, thought about it carefully, and panted, "It's possible." "Goodbye." He had half a step out of the door, and Gu Yan hurriedly stopped him, anxiously asking, "Is there any way to wake him up from suspended animation?" The chief physician was really out of breath, and perfunctorily said, "Maybe if we raise the room temperature, he will wake up from the heat." Do you think he is a hibernating snake? "Maybe, we can try." After contributing a crooked idea, the chief physician finally got away. Then, Gu Yan asked someone to get 2 heaters. The room temperature quickly rose from more than 10 degrees to 30 degrees. The guard was wearing a uniform, standing in the confinement room, sweating constantly, Gu Yan walked to Zhong Yuan's side, first pulled his eyelids, and found that there was no eye movement at all, and then tried to coax him in his ear. Zhong Yuan. Wake up. You are fine. We will not hold you responsible. You can leave, Zhong Yuan. Get up. Your honorary medal will be delivered soon. There is also a large bonus waiting for you. You will be commended in the whole school tomorrow, Zhong Yuan. Gu Yan was sweating profusely, and his mouth was dry. He tried his best to tempt Zhong Yuan, however, that the boy was still lying there peacefully, with no sign of waking up. Gu Yan beat his chest and stamped his feet, regretting that his heart and liver ached. I should not have locked him up in the confinement room. Look, what happened. He was fine when he came, and he fell asleep and couldn't be woken up. Many times, fake death lasts for a long time, and it becomes real death. What to do? What to do? Gu Yan was like an ant on a hot pot, circling around Zhong Yuan. If it doesn't work, ask Feng Qing to come and take a look. He has a good relationship with Zhong Yuan, he should be willing to help. At the same time, Zhong Yuan's consciousness was immersed in darkness. The soul that had nowhere to rest found peace the moment he closed his eyes. He gradually became intoxicated with it and returned to the realm of eternal immortality. The power of super-perception could not be transmitted here at all, no power could break this pure land. Consciousness slowly dispersed and merged with the endless darkness. This is a dark world that does not exist in reality. There is no matter and no spirit. Once you sink, it is difficult to get rid of it. When Zhong Yuan completely completes the fusion, he will assimilate with the dark world and can never return to reality. The situation is very dangerous, but I didn't find it, because he just returned to the place where he belonged, without any discomfort, but a kind of peace from the heart. A figure broke into the confinement room like a whirlwind. Gu Yan seemed to have seen a rescuer, and excitement appeared on his face. He's finally here. Feng Qing ran all the way here, his forehead was already covered with sweat. When he entered the small room, he saw the two ridiculous heaters that were still glowing and heating, and he felt terrible. Director Gu, what are you doing? Are you setting up a sauna? Do you want to heat Zhong Yuan to death? Gu Yan's face was full of despair. This is what Dr. Huang said, raising the ambient temperature may wake him up. He is in a state of suspended animation now, and he won't wake up no matter how much you shout. All the methods that can be thought of have been used: money, temptation, honorary rewards, even the private photos of last year's beauty pageant that have not been made public, showing them under Zhong Yuan's nose, are of no use. Gu Yan grabbed Feng Qing's hand and said excitedly, Feng Qing, I'm counting on you. You are the strongest medical department, you are our last hope. Feng Qing looked up at the sky and muttered, cross the river and demolish the bridge, kill the donkey and unload the mill, put away the bow after the bird is dead. I am a healing department, I can't fight, I'm easy to bully. Absolutely not like this. Gu Yan's eloquence is not as good as Commanderin, he can only coax without thinking. You are the treasure of our school, I didn't contact you because I was afraid you would be tired. Really? Feng Qing didn't want to make things awkward, so he asked calmly, Director Gu, tell me the bottom line. How does the college plan to deal with Zhong Yuan? Expel him. Gu Yan immediately said, what nonsense. Talents like him, the college is almost like a treasure, how can it be expelled? Is that so? Why didn't you say it earlier? Feng Qing breathed a sigh of relief, turned off the two heaters with disdain, and complained, really, it's too hot. This place is unbearable. Gu Yan saw that he was not in a hurry at all, and his expectation in his heart became stronger. He asked, are you sure you can wake him up? Feng Qing laughed dryly, at this time, we should follow Zhong Yuan's old rules. You can try, but I have a condition, Gu Yan said decisively without thinking, as long as you wake him up, I will agree to any condition. Feng Qing said, my condition is that I want to form a team with Zhong Yuan in the team competition of this college league, and the other two players must be designated by me. You can't interfere, that's it. I thought it was a big deal, and I just wanted the autonomy to form a team after all this time. Gu Yan made a prompt decision and said, I promise you. Feng Qing, hurry up, Feng Qing was satisfied. Great. I should have done this a long time ago. I don't know how many opportunities one missed before. He walked to Zhong Yuan's side and cleared his throat pretentiously. Next, I'll say a few words. Fuck. Enough, don't keep me in suspense. Hurry up. Gu Yan yelled in his heart. Then, he saw Feng Qing leaning over and whispering in Zhong Yuan's ear. Why are you still sleeping? Your sister was beaten up in Hualing College. At this moment, the dark world was filled with rage like a storm. The will that once merged with darkness was dominated by anger and became the only power that dominated this world. The paradise is no longer peaceful, the heart is no longer at peace. Zhong Yuan suddenly opened his tightly closed eyes and said in a fierce voice, What did you say? That you could hear a pin drop in the confinement room, and then there was a loud cheer. Wake up. Finally wake up. Gu Yan cried with joy and hugged several guards excitedly. Feng Qing was amazing. What did he say to wake Zhong Yuan up all of a sudden? Feng Qing, Corporate Confidential, no comment, warm reminder. If you find that clicking the next page will force you to jump to other websites, please use the chapter error or contact us at the bottom to let us know. We will handle it as soon as possible. Thank you for your understanding. Chapter 84 The Inside Story of Zhong Lan's Loss. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Feng Qing was naturally very concerned when he learned that Zhong Lan was going to Hualing College to block the door and fight. I helped with the special training for one night, which can be regarded as half a teacher. When students go out to fight, we always need to care about the final outcome. Feng Qing speculated that even if the other first-year freshmen were not strong enough, at least Zhong Lan could kill everyone and show off the prestige of our school. However, the reality was exactly the opposite of what he thought. 15 people from Qingying College ran to play in the gym. When I went there, I was full of energy and united in my will. When they came back, everyone was injured and dejected, not a single win. Hualing College only sent a boy named Cui Xingshi to fight, and he defeated everyone in Qingying College, first one-on-one, then a group fight, but still failed to defeat Cui Xingshi. What is genius? This is genius. Less than a month after school started, absorbing one ability is already pretty good, but Cui Xingshi has 3 abilities. In fact, he is not a native Chinese. Cui Xingshi's father, Cui Jingshuan, is one of the top 10 richest men in Simi Kingdom. I am over 60 years old this year. I had 2 marriages before giving birth to Cui Xingshi, but they both failed to escape the 7-year itch and eventually ended in divorce. Cui Xingshi's mother Lu Yulian is a well-known actress in China. In her early years, she starred in several movies and made a lot of money. Due to financial problems, she had to go abroad to avoid the limelight. In the end, she had a hasty flash marriage with Cui Jingshuan, who was 30 years older than her, which caused an uproar in domestic public opinion. Everyone is not optimistic about this marriage. However, Lu Yulian's methods were amazing, and she escaped the curse of the 7-year itch and sat firmly on the throne for many years. Ever since Cui Jingshuan married her, his ranking on the rich list has steadily improved, from 9th place 10 years ago to 2nd place now, second only to the head of Xuanqing Electronics. The biggest reason is that Lu Yulian gave birth to a good son. The Simi Kingdom has few resources and a small land area. Its population has been experiencing negative growth for many years, almost to the point where it has almost no descendants. Once it cannot suppress the invasion of Sudong, it will be the end of the country. Therefore, they also cultivate their own country's Su ability. Unfortunately, the number is sparse, and Su Jing relies heavily on the Lighthouse country and the Sakura country. Cui Xingshi successfully absorbed Su Jing at the age of 10. He first went to the Lighthouse Kingdom to study secretly for 6 years. Through his mother's relationship, he entered the Kingdom of China to continue his studies. He is not from China and is not qualified to enjoy China's resources, but the Cui family is too rich and gives too much, donating 200 million. Director Ma of Hualing College nodded and admitted him to school. Cui Xingshi has 3 abilities, one of which is Simi's special ability, simulation. The other 2 are unique to Lighthouse Nation. He also knew that it was impossible for China to give Su Jing resources. Therefore, coming here for further training is just to improve combat experience. It was just an opportunity for the 2 schools to compete. Not long after Zhong Lan became a Su Neng, how could one night of improvised training be compared to Master Cui Xing's years of hard training? She tried her best and used the secret trick Feng Qin gave her, but she failed to win in the end. Moreover, when Zhong Lan was fighting, the safety pants under her skirt ripped a big hole because of her excessive movements. She was afraid of being exposed, so she was too timid to make a move. She struggled to hold on for 3 minutes, and was finally knocked to the ground. Woohoo! I will never wear safety pants again. No one knew the secret behind her loss. Even Lu Wen just felt that Zhong Lan was too young and had no combat experience, so he couldn't let go. Only Zhong Lan himself knows the aggrievement. On the bus back, Xie Feng sat next to her and kept comforting her. Zhong Lan, don't be sad. You are already very powerful. At least you managed to fight that Master Cui Xing a few times. My iron tail didn't even touch the corner of his clothes, and I was eliminated directly. He has only absorbed one ability, Iron Tail, which he cannot control freely yet. During the fight, the invisible tail behind him always swept towards the ground, causing a big joke. In the end, he was kicked away by Cui Xingshi, and the defeat was extremely ugly, and most of the people in the class, like Xie Feng, were unable to use their abilities proficiently, and ended up failing miserably. Zhong Lan saw Xie Feng making a fool of himself, and said with red eyes, "How can you not be ashamed, but feel proud of it?" Xie Feng said in embarrassment, "I'm not proud of it. I just think it's normal to not be able to beat him. He is very talented and his family is rich. He has absorbed 3 abilities, 2 of which are control. Listen to your sophistry." Zhong Lan's round face was covered with tears, and she sobbed, "It's obviously me, and I'm not strong enough." Xie Feng was scolded by Zhong Lan, and his face was so hot that he did not dare to talk to her again. Everyone has self-esteem. It's hard to admit that you're not as good as someone else. Even if you know it in your heart, you will find various reasons to justify your failure. Only children like Zhong Lan, who are young and like a blank sheet of paper, can frankly admit that their skills are inferior to others. Lu Wen sat at the front of the bus and observed the status of all students. Hualing College proposed to use freshmen to compete, so it must have recruited monster-level students this year. Losing is expected, however. The most important thing is whether you can cheer up as soon as possible after losing. To Lu Wen's dismay, although everyone looked depressed, they did not turn this failure into motivation to work hard and improve. Sitting in the car, we either play mobile games together or watch short videos. Few people discuss their feelings during the battle together. This new class of students is a bit difficult to lead. Lu Wen sighed and was about to encourage the students to cheer up, but she heard a faint cry from the back. Zhong Lan cried sadly because he lost the competition. If his brother had also signed up for this year's competition, he shouldn't have lost so badly. The freshman sent by Hualing College is really strong and a good seedling. Lu Wen shook her head secretly. It would be meaningless to let Zhong Yuan compete, as it would not serve as an incentive or spur. The registration was deliberately counted after class on Friday in order to deliberately avoid Zhong Yuan. The starting point was good. Unfortunately, Feng Qin revealed the news of the loss in order to wake someone up. As a result, it worked better than anything else, and Zhong Yuan went online at the speed of light. He opened his eyes, ignored the old men hugging each other next to him, and quickly reached out to grab the neck of the person who leaked the information. The ability of the fighting master was activated under the subconscious urging. Feng Qin's hair stood up when his vital parts were taken, and he begged for mercy. "It's me, it's me. Yuan, don't get excited, let go first." Zhong Yuan was stunned for a moment, realized that he had overreacted, slowly let go of his hand, and half sat up. At this time, Gu Yan woke up from his revelry, pushed aside several guards, rushed to Zhong Yuan, and said earnestly, "Student Zhong Yuan, how do you feel?" Zhong Yuan hadn't figured out the current situation yet, and hesitated. "You are the leader I met that day." Gu Yan was very relieved and said, "Just call me Director Gu. The matter has been investigated, you have no fault, and you can go back now. It's best not to eat greasy food these days." What does "don't eat greasy food" mean? Zhong Yuan was puzzled, took out his mobile phone and took a look, and then his pupils shrank slightly. How is it possible? It's Sunday already. I thought I only lay down for 5 minutes. Chapter 85 Proof of Being Human. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After the consciousness enters the mysterious dark world, it completely loses the concept of time. Zhong Yuan thought that only 5 minutes had passed, but it was actually a kind of self-suggestion. Seeing that he seemed to be in a trance, Gu Yan couldn't help but said, "Classmate Zhong Yuan, next time before you enter the state of suspended animation, would you please let the academy know beforehand? After all, we old men are too old to be scared." Zhong Yuan said perfunctorily, "I know." Gu Yan suggested again, "Why don't you go to the infirmary to check your body first? If anything goes wrong, you'll be in trouble." Feng Qing interrupted, "With me here, what can go wrong? There's no need to go to the infirmary. Yuan, let's go. Let's go have supper." Zhong Yuan followed him out of the solitary room, and when he saw several guards guarding the outside, his heart sank slightly. There were so many people coming, but the super sense didn't respond, and Feng Qing finally woke him up. "Have you completely slept to death? Why is this happening?" Zhong Yuan thought to himself, feeling frightened, these people must have noticed that he was not breathing and had no heartbeat while sleeping. Fortunately, they treated him as a suspended animation and did not force him to go to the infirmary for a physical examination. Looking at Feng Qing next to him, he was wearing sunglasses, so it was hard to tell what his expression was. "I always feel like I was covering up just now. Maybe I'm overthinking it." Regardless of why he fell asleep to death, Zhong Yuan asked eagerly, "How could Lan Lan be beaten by someone from Hualing College?" Hualing College, I seem to have heard of it somewhere. After thinking for a moment, I remembered, when the helicopter took him back to school, he was asked whether he was a student of Chengying or Hualing. Also, on the day I submitted the application form, I bumped into an unreasonable tall boy in the corridor. The word Hualing was also embroidered on his clothes. Feng Qing slowed down and explained in detail. Hualing College, like our college, is a school that cultivates athletes. Every year, the two schools hold a competition meeting. This year, Hualing College proposed to let the first-year students compete, and Director Lu will take a dozen people from your class there. Discussion meeting. What a nice thing to say. Zhong Yuanhan said with a face, "My sister also went to fight. And it was allowed by the instructor." Faint. At this time, shouldn't we first ask, did the college win or lose? The focus of sister control is different. Feng Qing nodded unfaithfully. Zhong Yuan immediately reprimanded angrily, "She is only 12 years old, so let her go out to fight. Is this considered a serious school? Damn it, any serious person would go to Chengying College." Feng Qing couldn't help complaining in his heart, and quickly smoothed his hair. "Zhong Yuan, I know you care about your sister. But think about it, if she doesn't fight now, she will always fight in the future. A small loss now is better than a big loss later." With Director Lu following me, the discussions were all measured. Lan Lan didn't suffer any injuries, at most she had a scratch on her skin. Moreover, I heard Director Lu said that she performed very well. Other students lost in 10 seconds, but she was enough. It lasted 3 minutes. Zhong Yuan raised his voice expressionlessly, "Abrasions, Feng Qing was at a loss for 2 seconds, and suddenly felt that something was wrong. "It's over." He misjudged the seriousness of the skin abrasion in the girl's heart, and was about to explode the powder keg. He was so frightened that he quickly added, "A little bit, really just a little bit. The level of a band-aid." "Really?" Zhong Yuan said coldly, "Since the school still has this kind of legal beating activity, why didn't I be notified? Did you hide it from me on purpose?" That he didn't forget that Zhong Lan was ruined by his talk of killing and killing. Now there are bad signs, and we must put things right immediately. Feng Qing's forehead was covered with hot sweat, and he defended, "Who asked you to sleep in the solitary room? You slept for so long and couldn't wake up. You were not there when you signed up voluntarily, and your sister insisted on going. Who can't stop it? Furthermore, she has 2 abilities and is considered a top student in the class." Director Lu considered it again and again and decided that there was no danger before letting her go. Zhong Yuan raised his eyebrows and said gloomily, "According to you, it's all my fault." Feng Qing's eyes rolled and he began to show his misery. "Oh, your sister is still in the dark. I told her that you were bitten by a dog and go to the hospital to get a rabies injection. If you are locked in there and can't get out, I will tell her that you have an allergic reaction and stay in the hospital for observation. In order to help you cover it up, I have suffered so many grievances and eaten so many chili peppers. Zhong Yuan said coldly, Feng Qing, you are really thoughtful. It's okay, okay. I'm just a loyal person. Feng Qing patted his chest and whispered, why don't we go and avenge Xiao Lan? It's not past midnight yet, and it's still within the agreed time limit for kicking off the gym. Zhong Yuan could tell at a glance what Feng Qing was planning and said coldly, you want to use me as a thug for the college? Feng Qing shook his head and said, not as a thug, but as a fight for words. These days, whoever has the toughest fists is the boss. We have been beating Hualing for several years. When we go out, as long as I say that I am Chengying, they have to keep their tail between their legs. Take a detour. The students over there are rich and have good grades, but they can't beat us. Now they are using tactics to trick us. Can you swallow this breath? I heard from Xie Feng that your sister cried all the way. She must hope that a Superman brother can help her avenge her revenge. It's a pity that I am not in the first grade, otherwise I would definitely be the first time rushed out. Zhong Yuan said in confusion, Lan Lan is so sad. Feng Qing said seriously, yes. She values the honor of the college more than anyone else in the class. She was the only one who cried so hard after losing so miserably. After she came back, she didn't even eat dinner, not even the spicy chicken. What? Zhong Yuan's face turned pale, his whole body was shaken, and he murmured, I don't even want the spicy chicken. Is she so heartbroken? What's the name of the person who beat her? There was a hint of anger on his usually calm face. John 1J looks like a human being with this expression. Feng Qing felt relieved and said in a deep voice, first grader of Hualing College, Master Cui Sheng. It's still too late. Before midnight, you can hit someone legally without any responsibility. Ah, it's you. It's so late and you're going out to do errands with your friends. On the helicopter, the guy from Dongfeng Express said hello to Zhong Yuan in surprise, wherever we don't meet in life, we meet again. Qingying College is more than 30 kilometers away from Hualing College, ground transportation will definitely be too late, so the fastest way is of course flying. Unexpectedly, my brother delivers express during the day and flies at night. Two jobs are really not easy, and that dark badge actually has the privilege of mobilizing military helicopters. You can ride 5 times a month for free, and you can take 5 people with you each time. You have to pay for more. This is the privilege of the Su-capable people, especially those who are ranked less than 100 on the list. They can get resources that ordinary people can't imagine. In less than 5 minutes, the two came to the sky above Hualing College. This college is beautifully built, and every teaching building is the work of a well-known architect. There are acres of greenery, cleverly connecting various buildings together. Walking there, you won't feel tired even after a long time. Zhong Yuan has lived in Shandong City for so long, and this is the first time he knows that there is a super aristocratic school in the suburbs. Prepare to land vertically, let's go. Feng Qing threw a landing bag to Zhong Yuan. After demonstrating how to use it, he opened the hatch and jumped down from an altitude of 200 meters. Zhong Yuan carried his landing bag, pressed the switch, and jumped out of the plane, nearly reaching the ground, accelerating downward and slowing down, landing with no risk. At this time, Feng Qing had skillfully hung the landing bag on the hanging rope ladder to retrieve it. It is as natural as eating and sleeping. This guy is definitely not an ordinary person. Zhong Yuan watched this scene silently, and also hung the landing bag on the rope ladder to recover it. The helicopter flew away quickly. Standing at the gate of Hualing College, Feng Qing took out the loudspeaker he had prepared and pressed the loop play button. The garbage from Hualing College, come out and get beaten. Chapter 86, One Punch Kill. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Hualing College, Banquet Hall. The party has been going on for more than 3 hours. A group of young people in costumes gathered together, chatting and laughing. This place seems to be the epitome of the upper class. Both freshmen and old students are celebrating their victory over Qingying College today. Cui Xingshi, the biggest hero, was surrounded by several girls, proudly showing off his achievements in the lighthouse country. I'm not bragging. I remember when I was in Lighthouse Country, I could beat 5 high school espers who were older than me. Everyone in the Lighthouse Country is as strong as an ox, but unlike the people here, they are all weak chickens with bean sprouts. I can beat 15 of them with one hand. Chui Xingshi speaks Chinese very fluently, and he inherited the excellent genes from his mother. He has a handsome appearance, and a group of girls were made to giggle by him. Jiang Tianxua was standing not far away and felt very unhappy when he heard this. Too arrogant, he talks a lot about what the Lighthouse Country is like, and belittles China everywhere. Those girls too, actually supported him. However, this year they did rely on Chui Xingshi to defeat Chengying Academy. This banquet was specially held for him, so it was really not easy to scold him. Jiang Tianxua had an expressionless face and held a goblet in his hand. Due to excessive force, the cup was always on the verge of bursting. Student Union Secretary Qiu Ren walked up to him and said unhappily, "President, Master Chui Xing has been talking nonsense. If you continue to let it go, it will damage the reputation of our country's talented people." Jiang Tianxua snorted coldly, "Let him be proud for a while. When he gets to the battlefield of the College League, he will know that the sky is high." Qiu Ren was surprised and said, "Has it been decided to let him represent Hualing in the competition?" Jiang Tianxua nodded silently. Chui Xingshi spent 200 million to buy the qualification to participate. In China, there is no place better than the league battlefield to improve your combat level. If it gets more intense, you can only go to the Sudong battlefield. It was too dangerous there, and Simi Kingdom couldn't let Chui Xingshi take risks and work in vain for Hua Kingdom. Qiu Ren felt complicated and didn't know what to say. Jiang Tianxua patted him on the shoulder. "I can't do anything about what the board of directors decides. It is said to be a high degree of autonomy, but once it reaches a certain level of exchange of interests, it is beyond the control of the student union." While the two were talking, the sound of a loudspeaker suddenly came from outside. "The garbage from Hualing College, come out and get beaten. The garbage from Hualing College, come out and get beaten. The garbage from Hualing College, come out and get beaten." Just like reminding people, it scrolls and plays without any pause. Chui Xingshi was teasing some girls when he heard the sound and his face changed slightly. Someone else comes to kick the club. He put down his wine glass with a smile and said gracefully, "Can't all Chinese people afford to lose? There are so many people during the day, and I can't even stop them with one hand. Do you think that my ability will decline at night? Dear beauties, I'll excuse you for a moment. Let me continue our chat after I crush the little ants outside." Qiu Ren looked at the time and saw that it was not yet 11 o'clock in the evening. It was indeed within the time limit for the two schools to compete. As long as it's not past 12 o'clock, any number of people from Chengying Academy can be sent to fight. "President, do you think this is appropriate?" Jiang Tianxua didn't know what was going on at Chengying Academy, and at the same time he was somewhat expecting someone to frustrate Chui Xingshi's spirit. After pondering for a moment, he said, "There's nothing inappropriate. Since Chengying Academy hasn't finished yet, let's continue." He said to Chui Xingshi, "You might as well win beautifully." Chui Xingshi laughed loudly. "Don't worry, President, I will end the battle within 10 seconds. That's good." Jiang Tianxua let out a breath. During the day, he also gave these instructions in order to prevent the people of Chengying College from being harmed too much. Chui Xingshi's strength is much stronger than his opponent. If he wants to tease the weak and prolongs the battle indefinitely, Chengying's people will be completely useless. Jiang Tianxua didn't want to do this. The original intention of the discussion is to make progress and improvement together, not to hate and harm each other. After graduation, students from the two colleges are likely to become comrades and fight side by side. Jiang Tianxua said to Qiu Ren, "Turn on the projection screen in the banquet hall, and we will watch Chui Xingshi fight." Here. Several surveillance cameras were installed at the entrance of the college. During the day, the entire battle was broadcast live to the faculty and staff. The lights in the banquet hall dimmed. The image of a person coming to play at the school gate appeared on the projection screen. "The light is not bright enough." Jiang Tianxua immediately ordered again, "Lamp." "Yes. President." A hot air balloon spacecraft immediately took off, casting 2 bright beams of light at the school gate. "Now, I can finally see people." "It's Feng Qing," Churen exclaimed. He came in person. Sunglasses are Feng Qing's biggest feature. and he can be recognized at a glance. However, Jiang Tianxua stared at the other boy in black clothes. I don't know why, but it looks familiar. The light was still too dark, and the boy stood in a very subtle position, just enough to avoid the surveillance camera from capturing his face. He should be the last person to kick the gym. At the same time, at the school gate, a cute hot air balloon suddenly appeared in the sky, casting a beam of light that lit up the entire school gate. Zhong Yuan couldn't help but said, Hualing College is really wealthy. Feng Qing said disdainfully, it's just a nouveau riche. The people inside are not very good. Zhong Yuan had no objection. In my heart, I really labeled someone from Hualing College as a gangster. Looking at the quiet campus, his expression suddenly changed slightly and he said, here we come. A boy was approaching quickly and arrived at the school gate in less than 2 minutes. He came alone, wearing a tuxedo, with a hint of alcohol on his breath. One look revealed that he was attending a celebration banquet before coming here. Cui Xingshi raised his chin at 45 degrees, stared at the two people in front of him, and said arrogantly, which of you will go up first? Or both? I don't care. Feng Qing heard something strange in his accent and asked, a person from Simi country. Cui Xingshi became even more proud. That's right. I am the number 1 player on the youth list of Simi country. My name is Cui Xingshi. Have you heard of my name? Feng Qing shook his head, never heard of it. I never pay attention to rankings in small places. Cui Xingshi immediately felt insulted and said angrily, come here. Let's have a fight. You can't calm down now. Feng Qing smiled, pointed at Zhong Yuan and said, unfortunately, your opponent is him, not me. Cui Xingshi looked at Zhong Yuan, took a taekwondo stance, and sneered, I can beat 100 weaklings like you with one hand. As soon as he finished speaking, a pale fist came towards him. After confirming the other party's identity, Zhong Yuan didn't want to be verbose at all. Fearless. Ningbing. Fighting Master. Blood for blood. The 4 abilities are activated together, and the effect is amazing. Cui Xingshi had no time to react. His whole body was frozen by the ice and he could not use any of his abilities. Waves of air surged, and the wind stung his face like a knife. His hair stood on end, and he could only watch helplessly as the fist hit him in the face. Boom. Blood mixed with several teeth spurted out of the mouth. Cui Xingshi took off with a whoosh, passed through the school gate, across the avenue. Finally, his head hit the fountain sculpture dozens of meters away. The person fell into the water, white foam rolled, and a large amount of water poured out of the pool, but the person who fell in was silent. The moment he was knocked away, everyone in the bustling banquet hall became silent. Click. After all, the goblet did not escape the fate of shattering. The sparkling wine, along with a trace of blood, trickled down his wrist to the ground. Jiang Tianxua didn't feel the pain at all. He finally saw the face of the attacker clearly. This face is. Chapter 87, Rare in the World, Heart-Wrenching. You are listening at novelfull.audio. President. Your hands. In the quiet banquet hall, the sound of breaking glasses was extremely abrupt. Qiu Ren was the closest and could clearly see a deep wound on Jiang Tianxua's finger from the broken glass. A cut that deep must have hurt. He hurriedly gave Jiang Tianxua a healing wind ability, and secretly thought, although the president was dissatisfied with Cui Xingshi on the surface, he actually valued him and hoped that he could win in the end. However, the fact is that Jiang Tianxua has been in a state of unrequited love since he met the mysterious black long straight beauty that day at Chengying College. She is so beautiful and cute. After being slightly frightened, he ran away like a deer. This type is most likely to arouse boys' protective desire. I asked my sister to check it out, but there is no news yet. Jiang Tianxua thought about it and felt that a boy could not be so white and so good-looking. It must be a girl who won't get the wrong result. The moment he saw Zhong Yuan, he felt like he was struck by lightning and couldn't believe his eyes. This face, these eyebrows. Isn't she the mysterious little beauty that I have been thinking about day and night for the past few days and dreaming about her? But the young man on the screen has shoulder-length hair tied behind his head, not long and straight black. His expression was sharp, like an unsheathed sword. Apart from the fact that she looks exactly like the mysterious little beauty in my memory, the two feel completely different. Jiang Tianxua felt bad all over. He took a step back in despair. With the last glimmer of hope in his heart, he lowered his voice and asked his friend. Children, do you think the student from Qingying College is a boy or a girl? Churen's eyes widened. President, what's wrong with you? Have you drunk too much? Are you confused? With such a flat chest, he is obviously a boy. Wait a minute. Ren stared at the people on the screen, suddenly confused. Oops. Can't tell the difference. He's so good looking, is he really a boy? It seems that many tall girls are quite flat. As soon as this thought came up, Ren became obsessed with it and could no longer make objective and correct judgments. There was more and more sweat on his forehead. In the end, Ren could only blush and said, I don't know. Jiang Tianxua seemed to have been saved, and he was ecstatic. It's not that I'm blind, even Ren can't tell whether it's a boy or a girl. The male-to-female ratio in Hualing College is seriously imbalanced. Among 10 students, there are 8 boys and 2 girls. Although the girls are pretty good-looking and rarely have buck teeth, Jiang Tianxua always feels that their temperament is not good. He received an elite education from his family since he was a child, giving priority to interests in everything, and he has a worldly air that makes people dislike him. Unlike the person on the screen, his whole body exudes a cool and otherworldly temperament. Especially those deep eyes, full of disdain for the world. Such a temperament is rare in the world and heartbreaking. Jiang Tianxua didn't know it yet, but someone had accidentally folded it under his influence. At this time, one person reacted and shouted in panic, President. Master Cui Sheng was beaten away. Do you want to go out and rescue him? That the surveillance camera could not capture the scene where Cui Shengshi fell into the fountain. After he flew out, he never came back to fight again. Something might have happened, Jiang Tianxua said decisively. Let's go out and take a look. That a large group of people followed him out of the banquet hall. Soon I saw Cui Shengshi turned into a drowned rat by the fountain at the school gate. He was very unlucky. After being hit by ice, he fell into the pool again. The cold was twice as powerful and he almost froze to death. After finally surviving the 2 minutes of freezing, when I climbed out of the pool, my body had already lost a lot of heat. The most terrible thing was that he had no ability to save himself and could not stand up. He could only curl up on the ground and tremble. In addition, the cheek on the side that was beaten was highly swollen, and the skin turned strange purple-red, making it almost unrecognizable. Jiang Tianxua noticed that his condition was not good and immediately said, Ren, treat him. Yes. President. Ren used a healing wind. Under the green breeze, Cui Shengshi gradually recovered, the chill dissipated, and his face was no longer swollen. However, it is impossible for knocked-out teeth to grow back. The tip of his tongue touched the empty space in the alveolar. Unexpectedly, another tooth fell out precariously. Cui Shengshi was so frightened that he opened his mouth and spat out half of his bloody teeth. Several girls stood nearby and laughed out loud when they saw that he had several front teeth missing. Despite the fact that they were chatting and laughing around him just now, they were actually just being conciliatory. Cui Shengshi's eyes were wet, and he said with a mixture of shock and anger, Bichi. What a joke. I haven't lost yet. The despicable and shameless Chinese took action when I was not prepared. I will definitely beat him to death. Cui Shengshi jumped up and rushed to the school gate with murderous intent. At the same time, Zhong Yuan looked at his fist thoughtfully. After sleeping in the solitary room, my strength seems to have become a little stronger. It's not that the ability level has changed. Instead, he used 4 abilities at the same time, and he didn't feel tired at all. Ruiners cannot use the absorbed abilities indefinitely. For example, Shengwan Yi, who can combine physical skills with Su, will be exhausted after 5 minutes of fierce attack and needs to rest. After all, it was plundered from the ruined crystal, not its own product. If you want to use your ability better and for a longer period of time, you can only improve your physical fitness and control skills. Therefore, Feng Yuma is keen on single-finger push-ups, and the Su Ninja team regularly conducts long-distance training to train their physique and willpower. For Zhong Yuan, it is no longer possible to train his physique. Using his abilities will only make his mind tired, so he just needs to find a way to train his mind. He feels nothing when he is not fighting, but Zhong Yuan obviously feels that his mental strength has increased a lot after fighting. Sleeping in the confinement room, there are such gains. Zhong Yuan secretly thought, maybe the confinement room is specially built to train students. If there is a chance, I must sleep there again, and Feng Qing was also secretly surprised that Zhong Yuan's punch was so terrifying. Not only that, freezing someone and then deliberately hitting him into the pool is simply insidious to the extreme. Even if Cui Xingshi doesn't die, he will suffer a lot. Looking at the direction of the fountain, it is pitch black and nothing can be seen clearly. Wearing sunglasses, looking at Zhong Yuan again, he was standing in a daze. Feng Qing couldn't help asking, Yuan, what happened to you? Did you hurt your hand? No, there was no bone fracture or skin breakage. After one punch, he was in great shape. Zhong Yuan whispered, I've become stronger. Feng Qing asked in confusion, how strong? How many Fengyun Mo can I kill in seconds? If Fengyun Mo knew that he had become a unit of measurement for strength, he would have to kill him. Zhong Yuan thought about it and said seriously, it's not a question of how many I can kill in seconds, but how much it costs to kill him in seconds. Now the cost has become smaller. Feng Qing understood immediately, deliberately turned his back to block the surveillance camera, and whispered, your weak period has shortened. How long? Zhong Yuan looked at him sideways, why do you care so much? Feng Qing said seriously, don't forget, we are about to fight side by side in the college league. If you don't tell others, at least tell your exclusive medical staff. Zhong Yuan almost wanted to say, I have the ability to regenerate, I don't need your treatment. But he already knew so much, it doesn't matter if he tells it. Zhong Yuan stammered, 1.5 days. Feng Qing's eyes sparkled, and he clenched his fists vigorously, saying excitedly, it's shortened by 12 hours. Zhong Yuan was speechless, really, why are you so excited? Look at him, he's happier than I am. At some point, the description of Ice Blood Explosion's ability became as follows. All abilities are immediately increased by 1200%, lasting for 30 seconds. After the end, you will enter a weak period, which lasts for 36 hours. Chapter 88, One Thought Ruins Your Life. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Since the weakening time of ice-blooded explosion can be shortened to 36 hours, does it mean that it can be shorter until there is no weakening time? The ability description is unmistakable. The sudden decrease in weakness time is definitely not for no reason. All changes started from being locked up in a solitary room. While Zhong Yuan was deep in thought, Cui Xingshi returned to the school gate. Not only that, he was followed by a large group of people. In this group of people, the men wear suits and tuxedos, and the women wear shoulder-length evening gowns. Each one of them looks like an elite member of the upper class, not like a high school student at all. Compared with them, the students of Chengying College are indeed quite immature. Zhong Yuan recognized the boy with the brushed hair walking at the front as the gangster he met in the corridor that day. Feng Qing sneered, everyone from Hualing, aren't you afraid of being slapped in the face by holding a celebration party so early? Looking at Cui Xingshi again, the injuries on his body have actually been healed. He was fierce and full of murderous intent. It was obvious that he was not here to admit defeat, but instead seemed to be fighting again. Cui Xingshi hated Zhong Yuan so much that when they met again, he was extremely jealous and said in a hateful voice. Trash! Attack me before I'm ready. I'm going to kill you. Zhong Yuan frowned and asked Feng Qing, if the two schools are competing, can they kill people without taking responsibility? Feng Qing was afraid that he would really do it, so he immediately denied it. Of course not. People in Simi Kingdom have always had a high self-esteem, and the number of capable people in the ruins is too small, so they are just offering sacrifices like their ancestors. This kid has never suffered anything. I lost my mind after being beaten by you. Zhong Yuan said solemnly, what does it have to do with me that he lost his mind? I only know that someone cured him and then beat him again. Will this continue? Cui Xingshi heard this and yelled angrily, despicable Chinese people only use dishonorable means to trick others. I spurn you on behalf of all the capable people in the world. A map cannon offended everyone present. Personal grudges were suddenly elevated to the world level by him. Even the people at Hualing College changed their expressions and wanted to drive Cui Xingshi out of the school immediately. I really don't know what the school board is thinking. It actually allows such people to enter the school. It's a disgrace to itself. Feng Qing couldn't help but sneer and said to Jiang Tianxue, your Hualing College is about to die. Has it started collecting garbage? No matter how eloquent Jiang Tianxua is, he can't refute. Moreover, most of his attention was focused on Zhong Yuan, and his eyes were staring at him tightly without blinking. After half a minute, Jiang Tianxua was finally sure that, except for the different hairstyle, Zhong Yuan was the person he met in the corridor that day. My mind was in turmoil. Normally, he would have argued with Feng Qing, but in this confrontation, he was completely at a disadvantage and was speechless. Qiu Ren's eloquence is second only to Jiang Tianxua, but unfortunately he accidentally broke it when he was in the banquet hall. Now, when he saw Zhong Yuan up close, he simply lowered his head and did not dare to say a word to avoid leaving a bad impression. Cui Xingshi wanted revenge, pointed at Zhong Yuan and said, "Trash. What you did just now doesn't count. Hit him again." As a loser, with such arrogance, it is obvious that he is used to being domineering. No matter how good-tempered Zhong Yuan is, he will still be angered. Feng Qing is right, the quality of people in Hualing College is a mess, they are just a bunch of hooligans. Especially the brush head, he is the gangster leader. However, Jiang Tianxua made up his mind and asked seriously, "Feng Qing, what is the name of the person you brought here?" Despite his calm appearance, in fact, he was extremely nervous. Male or female, wouldn't you know just by asking for the name? His question was normal and even Feng Qing did not suspect it, but it once again deepened Zhong Yuan's misunderstanding. "I still have a grudge against you, but you are still asking for your name." At this time, Feng Qing said calmly, "His name is Zhong Yuan." "Jiang Tianxua, I advise you not to have any ideas about him. He will definitely form a team with me in the future." However, Jiang Tianxua had something far deeper than forming a team. The name Zhong Yuan can be masculine or feminine, but I still can't tell. He was heartbroken and said tremblingly, "Boy." Feng Qing rolled his eyes speechlessly. "Nonsense. Are you trying to delay time? It's almost 11 o'clock in the evening. No matter how hard I think of a comeback, Hualing College will still win this year." Click. Jiang Tianxua seemed to hear the sound of his own heart breaking. "Boys. I actually fell in love with a boy at first sight. Impossible, impossible, absolutely impossible." This blow was so heavy that it directly made him dizzy. Countless twine threads in his eyes were tangled up and spinning continuously. Qiu Ren secretly thought to himself, "The feeling at first sight is always correct, but in fact it is not. Unacceptable." He saw the clues that something was wrong with Jiang Tianxua, and secretly approached him to persuade him, "President, please cheer up. There is no grass anywhere in the world." How could Jiang Tianxua cheer up? The mysterious little beauty with long black hair is really his first love. How is it possible that it's a boy? He roared in his heart, "What if there is a miracle?" Jiang Tianxua held on to the last glimmer of hope and asked loudly, "Zhong Yuan, do you have a younger sister?" Feng Qing was surprised and said, "You know all this?" Jiang Tianxua was stunned for a moment, and then was hit by a huge surprise. His whole body was like a dead tree moistened by sweet rain, and he suddenly came back to life. "Have a sister? Twin brother and sister? The one I met in the corridor is Zhong Yuan's biological sister, so they look exactly the same." At this time, Jiang Tianxua looked at Zhong Yuan with a different expression. "If the relationship goes well, this person will be the future brother-in-law. Say hello first." Jiang Tianxua straightened his chest and saluted Zhong Yuan very formally. "Hello, Zhong Yuan. My name is Jiang Tianxua, I am 18 years old, 1.89 meters tall, and weigh 78 kilograms. Wait, where have I seen this pattern before?" Zhong Yuan frowned and said, "What do you want to say?" Jiang Tianxua was rarely shy, scratched his hair, and said, "Actually, I fell in love with your sister at first sight. Now she is still young, and I don't want to affect her studies. I think she and I can start as ordinary friends. I'm serious. I want to date your sister with the premise of getting married." Zhong Yuan was completely stunned. The shock of this life and the last life combined could not compare to the impact of his words. Feng Qing and Jiang Tianxua have known each other for many years, but never knew that this guy was such a beast. Although Feng Qing often talks nonsense and jokes with Zhong Lan, in reality, what kind of attraction does a 12-year-old bean sprout have to the opposite sex? There is no feeling at all. You are dating with the premise of marriage, Jiang Tianxua, you are too cruel. As for the group of people in Hualing College, the reaction was even stronger. Jiang Tianxua, the president of the student union with over 90% support rate in the college, has a crush on someone, and the other party is a girl from Qingying College. It's over. Even if they win Qingying College, they lose the president. Chapter 89 Chasing after phantoms in dreams will lead to no results. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Master Chuixing was ignored by everyone for a full 5 minutes, and his anger reached its peak. He had never been so humiliated before, and when he heard Jiang Tianxua confess his love to his enemy's sister, he was immediately trembling with anger. They were in the same group. In the name of sparring, he deliberately beat him seriously. However, being in Hualing College, he was alone and weak, and could not confront Jiang Tianxua for the time being, so Master Chuixing poured all his anger on Zhong Yuan. Angry as it was, he had to admit that Zhong Yuan's punch, plus the freezing ability, combined together, was indeed quite powerful. Even if you are fully prepared for the battle, you will suffer a small loss. Let you taste the taste of being hit by your own moves. Master Chuixing's eyes flashed with a calculating light, and a sinister sneer rose at the corner of his mouth. While no one noticed him, Master Chuixing secretly activated the unique skills of Simi-Country, simulation, simulate the target's ability through contact. The power does not exceed 80% of the target at most. The number should not exceed the number of one's own abilities. Most of the Su Ning from Simi-Country have absorbed the simulation ability. Although the conditions for its activation are very harsh, the people of Simi-Country don't care. After all, this is unique to their country, and Su Ning from other countries have no chance to absorb it. The so-called simulation is equivalent to an incomplete copy. The prerequisite is to contact the opponent's ability. After the simulation is successful, the power is reduced by 20%. The last and most important thing is that the number of simulated opponent abilities cannot exceed the number of one's own abilities. Chuixing has a total of 3 abilities. When he performs simulation, the new ability he gets will temporarily replace the original skill. So, he simulates 3 at most, and Zhong Yuan attacked him, seemingly using only fighting and freezing, but in fact, he used 4 abilities. So, Chuixing was in tragedy. Without knowing it, he simulated Zhong Yuan's attack, and the 4 abilities were used together, which was completely beyond his own tolerance. The sneer on his face instantly turned into fear. A large amount of blood gushed out of his 7 orifices, and his body shook violently and couldn't stop. Chuixing had never encountered such a situation before and had no idea how to deal with it. If he stopped immediately and called for help, there might be a glimmer of hope. Unfortunately, he did not do that. The simulation continued. A pair of eyeballs slowly turned upwards, and blood and tears kept flowing. Bang! Chuixing fell straight down, and his limbs kept shaking. Ah! Why did Chuixing suddenly fall? That everyone in Hualing College finally focused on him again. Several girls screamed in fear. Jiang Tianxua was also shocked when he saw this, and shouted at Feng Qing, "What did you do to him?" That he could not doubt his brother-in-law, so he could only point the spearhead at the opponent he had fought for many years. Feng Qing spread his hands innocently and said, "Don't make a mistake. I am a medical department, not a curse department. If I want to kill him, will it be in front of you, and then you will expose it, that there is nothing wrong with this." With Feng Qing's ability, it is a piece of cake to kill Chuixing secretly. Jiang Tianxua looked extremely ugly, and said to Qiu Ren, "You send Chuixing to the infirmary for emergency treatment, that we can't let this scumbag get into trouble. Even if something happens, it can't happen in Hualing College. In fact, just ask Feng Qing to treat him," but for some reason, Jiang Tianxua just doesn't want to speak. Qiu Ren immediately led a few students to carry Chuixing away in a hurry. So far, the only freshman in Hualing College who can fight has fallen, and Zhong Yuan has lost his opponent and stands to the end. Feng Qing smiled with his hands on his hips. This year, our Qingying College still won. That when it comes to honor, how could Jiang Tianxua give in? He immediately retorted, "We played a total of 16 games, and our school won 15 games. 15-1, it's my Hualing College that won." Bullshit. Whoever stands to the end is the winner. Feng Qing, if you can't afford to lose, then don't afford to lose. Why bother making excuses? The two of them were tit for tat, arguing loudly, and didn't notice that Zhong Yuan's expression was getting more and more gloomy and more ferocious. Enough. You want to change the subject? You think I'm easy to fool, right? An unprecedented fierce aura surrounded him, and Zhong Yuan's eyes were emotionless. He stared at Jiang Tianxua and said word by word, "If you want to be with my sister, you have to step over my body first." Feng Qing instinctively shuddered. Oh no. Being disturbed by the stupid pen of Simi country, he ignored Zhong Yuan's feelings. It's too late to rub the hair now. The volcano is about to erupt, the world is about to be destroyed, the ultimate dangerous moment has arrived. Feng Qing retreated decisively. Jiang Tianxua, you take care of yourself. If you can survive, I would like to call you the strongest scum in the world. Feng Qing ran at an incredibly fast speed. It can be said that he has never run so fast in his life. In the blink of an eye, the person disappeared without a trace, leaving only Zhong Yuan still at the gate of Hualing College, constantly emitting the breath of death. What happened? Why did the president of Qingying College suddenly retreat? The people of Hualing College didn't know they were about to face a great terror. Half of them sent Cui Xingshi to the infirmary, and the remaining half stayed with Jiang Tianxua to cheer for the president. They just remembered that the president had just made a sincere confession. Wonderful. The confession obviously didn't impress the other party. If Zhong Yuan disagreed and obstructed it, this cross-college relationship would basically have no chance. Our president is saved. The people at Hualing College breathed a sigh of relief. However, Jiang Tianxua was anxious and asked loudly, "Why? Do you think I am not worthy of your sister? I am the student union president of Hualing College. My Jiang family is one of the top 10 families in Shandong City, and our industry is spread all over the country." Zhong Yuan interrupted coldly, "It can't change the fact that you are a beast." Shang Guanyi's insults to Zhong Lan were a strategy to anger him and force him to take action. Jiang Tianxua's situation was different. Zhong Yuan could see that this bastard was serious and really had the kind of male-female intention towards Zhong Lan. My sister only came to Hualing College once. And she was targeted. Beast. Scum. Don't deserve to live in this world. Zhong Yuan was really angry, and he grabbed with both hands, and 6 cold flying knives were shot at the same time. No one could see his movements clearly. The thin knife flashed a deadly light in the dark night. The moment it broke through the air, Jiang Tianxua realized that the crisis of death was coming. Is my brother-in-law serious? If you don't save yourself, you will die. 6 knives flew at Jiang Tianxua from different directions, blocking all retreat routes. Zhong Yuan's own flying knife talent is not inferior to that of a fighting master, making up for his lack of long-range attack. In a split second, Jiang Tianxua finally made a move. Crystal wall. Rock. Copper skin and iron bones. 3 powerful defensive skills provide all-round protection. At the same time, Jiang Tianxua stepped on the ground with both feet, making a steady posture, and activated the last control system ability. Magnetic force. Snap. The flying knife immediately changed direction, vertically downward, sticking to the ground, less than 5 cm away from Jiang Tianxua. What a close call. Before he could breathe a sigh of relief, Zhong Yuan pulled his feet hard and closed the distance. The band that tied up his long hair broke, and his black hair fluttered in the night wind. The face of the boy in front of him once again completely overlapped with his dream lover. Jiang Tianxua was actually stunned. Then, a fist broke through the crystal wall defense, ignoring the restraint of the magnetic force, and hit him hard in the face. What are you looking at? Crack. All the bones in his hand were broken, but the regeneration force immediately restored Zhong Yuan to a perfect state. Jiang Tianxua lost his balance and was knocked to the ground, with a burning pain on his face. Such a strong force. Such a heavy fist. Such a terrible fighting spirit. No wonder Master Cui Sheng was defeated in one move. The ability of the rock needs to stand firmly on the ground with both feet to provide a continuous defense and be immune to most controls. Once it falls, the defense will immediately show a flaw. Zhong Yuan's ice condensation finally worked. Chapter 90 Old Friend. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Although Jiang Tianxua failed to make it into the top 100 of the youth rankings, many bigwigs in the military region are very optimistic about him. Rankings are not everything. Jiang Tianxua is a defensive-oriented Su Neng. 3 of his 4 abilities are defensive, and the last one is field control. Although he can't beat people with higher positions, it is also difficult to defeat him. In a team, he can play the role of a stabilizing force. Not only that, he has a calm personality and has served as the student union president of Hualing College for many years. He has strong leadership and charisma. After graduation, there is a high probability that he will join the top Su Neng team. There are even rumors that the military region may give him the power to form his own team. This is a great thing. There is almost no precedent for being a captain right after graduation. However, such a promising young genius is being pressed to the ground and hammered by Zhong Yuan. Bang, bang, bang. No skills are needed anymore. In the end, back to basics, just one punch. One more punch. Beat him to death. Jiang Tianxua was frozen miserably, and without the control-free feature brought by the rock, he could only passively take the beating. The condensed ice was like free of charge, one after another, and the result was that he was beaten endlessly, and he couldn't even fight back. Fortunately, the copper skin and iron bones could weaken the power of freezing, and Jiang Tianxua's movements were restricted, but he didn't get frostbite. The crystal wall and the copper skin and iron bones are superimposed together, and the defense is still considerable. Zhong Yuan had a blank expression on his face, secretly surprised at the endurance of this scumbag. He had been beating him for 2 minutes, but he hadn't broken his turtle shell, crystal wall. This is because, under the influence of the magnetic force, Zhong Yuan's attack was at least 3 beats slower, and the power was greatly reduced. Similarly, Jiang Tianxua was counterattacked by the magnetic force, the crystal wall vibrated, and his internal organs were uncomfortable. He had to protect his vitals with all his strength, and his body was like a frozen shrimp, maintaining a curled posture, trying to minimize the damage. Don't fight. If you keep hitting me, your hands will be broken. I really don't want to fight with you. Jiang Tianxua has no hostility towards Zhong Yuan and tries his best to persuade him. However, every time his lips can move, they are frozen again. This is the strength of the control system. Once you lose the initiative, it's over. Punch after punch, endless, puff. Jiang Tianxua finally vomited blood. The defense is getting weaker, and the crystal wall is only a thin layer left, and it is almost broken. He still doesn't know what he said wrong to make Zhong Yuan so hostile. What's wrong with me? I'm sincere. Your sister is so cute, I like her. Why do you hit me? Zhong Yuan, I'm hitting you. The thoughts are still parallel, without any intersection. In this competition of strength and defense, Zhong Yuan took the initiative from beginning to end. Even if his bones will break with every punch, he didn't care at all. After so many hits and countless cracks. Under the control of anger, Zhong Yuan perfectly controlled the ability of the Ghost King Badger, transformed into a human-shaped alien, and launched a unilateral ravage and massacre of Jiang Tianxua. The situation was one-sided. Several students of Hualing College had never thought that their president would rather be beaten for his sweetheart. This can't go on. He has been beaten to vomit blood, and he doesn't stop. Something big is going to happen. Going up to rescue will be beaten to death in minutes. Several people acted immediately and split up. One person went to find the instructor, one person went to find the school leader, and 2 people went to the guard team for help. The guard team of Hualing College is not like Chengying College. The guards here are all strong and powerful, and they are all hired with high salaries. Some are retired veterans, and some are still serving in the military region. They have formed 2 civilian teams. The building where the guard team is located is more luxurious than a 6-star hotel. The college hired Michelin chefs to take charge of the food. Food and accommodation are free. Usually, they have nothing to do, and they can be said to live a paradise-like life. At this time, several guards were chatting while on night duty. I heard that the Ares squad has made another contribution. The commander's daughter is awesome. She won the first-class merit and is said to have a medal. In a few years, our military region may have a female general. 7th brother, why are you jealous? They risked their lives to get back. If the military region doesn't reward them, who will be willing to risk their lives in the future? Don't you think about how many people have died in the Ares squad over the years? The missions they perform have the highest risk factor in the entire military region. That's right. One of my brothers is in the Central China military region. I heard that when 2 people in their team came out of the square boundary, they turned into charcoal. It was so miserable. Another person interrupted, did they die? Are there any vacancies in their team? Everyone laughed and teased, Xiao Chen, are you tempted? Want to apply to join the team? I heard that the captain is not married yet, and you still have the hope of becoming the commander's son-in-law. Xiao Chen's full name is Chen Jun. He just graduated this summer and is a newcomer to the guard team. He has a good temper. He was not angry when being teased. He just smiled shyly and said, that's what I meant. I'm still young and want to go out and try my luck. It's boring to stay in school all day. Someone dissuaded him, Xiao Chen, don't be upset. The academy is comfortable, the treatment is good, and there is not much to do. Joining the Su Ninja team and carrying out missions is not a big deal, but I'm afraid of meeting a treacherous captain who treats you as cannon fodder. Chen Jun was born in Zhong Lan city in the southwest, where the economy is relatively backward. The family didn't want him to perform dangerous tasks, they just wanted him to live a peaceful life, so when Hualing College offered him a high salary to be a guard and the military district was willing to keep his military status, Chen Jun came to Shandong City without hesitation. The future seemed bright, but after half a year of doing nothing and living a peaceful life, he suddenly realized that this was not what he wanted. Facing the persuasion of his colleagues, Chen Jun was silent for a while, then smiled bitterly, no, although I am a medical student, I also have ideals. A group of people laughed again, praising him as a hero. It was not a mockery, but each of them had been as idealistic and ambitious as Chen Jun. The chat continued. The 2 people in the God of War team have been saved. They don't need medical personnel. But the Nighthawk team is short of people now. This team is from our Upper East City. Xiao Chen, you can give it a try. I also have some friends in the military district. I will help you find out later. Chen Jun said gratefully, thank you. Thank you. We are all family. Why are you being polite? Medical talents have always been in short supply. You have life to share. You will be popular wherever you go. When you become successful in the future, don't forget to help us old brothers. When the atmosphere was harmonious, a student suddenly ran in. He was out of breath and said intermittently, something happened, something happened. Go to the school gate to help. Several guards were startled and found the screen of the school gate from a bunch of surveillance screens. They saw Jiang Tianxua being pressed to the ground and beaten by a boy in black clothes. The crystal wall was broken, blood was flowing like a river, and he was left with only copper skin and iron bones to support. The captain of the guard saw that the situation was not good and immediately said, hurry up. Xiao Chen, you come too.